I'm a 15-year-old male and I have never been the alpha male. I don't play sports or anything like that. There have been some bad rumors circulating around school before. I didn't grow up with a father, but I am definitely more masculine now than I was when I was younger because I have a stepdad. Those rumors don't really go around anymore, as far as I know. I know I shouldn't be insecure, but I still am. Do you have any advice? Story 1. That alpha concept is very awkward. You are going through many changes. 20 years from now, you will realize you were experiencing as much difficulty as you felt. However, I suppose that understanding only comes with experience. Remember that different people like different things. Story 2. Bud, surf your wave. Let the dominant male fight for the useless dominant title. You are 15, go fishing, ride a bike, and eat candy. Do not forget to brush your teeth. Please believe me, this is not sarcasm. Story 3. Find a social hobby club that has a mix of age ranges. You will quickly find that many men do not care at all about whether they are seen as masculine, and neither does anyone else. One of the most positive aspects of seeing men older than you in a social situation is learning from them how not to care. Get involved in something like amateur dramatics, even if it is just behind the scenes, and you will meet many people who live their lives without ever worrying about how manly they are. Story 4. You are 15. You should not have to worry about being masculine. You are a boy. Enjoy being a boy. You have nothing to prove as long as you stand up for yourself and stay authentic to who you want to be. Story 5. I am much older than you from before the concept of the alpha male was invented, but there have always been people telling men how a real man should act. What a real man was 20 years ago is different from what a real man is expected to be nowadays. Different countries also have different ideas about what a real man is. The point is that there are always people telling you how to be a man. Ignore them and be yourself. Do not change your personality or hide your interests to be a real man. Be the real you. Be yourself. Story 6. What's funny is that all the alpha males I went to school with were really just weak, insecure children who bullied others to appear strong, but underneath they were pathetic. The most masculine thing to do is be yourself and not care when people like that make fun of you because they are threatened by your genuine confidence. Story 7. First, do not listen to alpha male influencers or try to be like them. Eat healthy, exercise regularly, and work hard toward a job. Lord of the Rings, Optimus Prime from the 1980s, Back to the Future, and Batman. The animated series are great examples of masculinity. Story 8. It will happen in time no matter what. High school is difficult. Most people at that age are not mature enough to question themselves as you are doing, so they question everyone else. When you get older, most people stop making those kinds of judgments. Story 9. I'll stop you right there. Never let others tell you what you should or should not be or feel. This is the type of shaming tactic you will experience your entire life by people doing it intentionally and unintentionally to get others to comply with whatever they feel is most convenient to them. The great news is you are under no obligation to comply with people with whom you did not sign any compliance agreement. Sure, your parents are covering a lot of bills that you cannot, so it makes sense to cooperate with them, but even they are deluding themselves if they think it is their job to tell you what you should feel. This is where, in my opinion, you can start your journey into adulthood. Throw away the buzzword labels, even when you would tick all the boxes that supposedly are so important to be alpha, beta, sigma, cool, popping off, killing it, or whatever else. Someone will come along and find something to tell you that you are not all that. Instead, let me give you this. There is a good book and audiobook called When I Say No, I Feel Guilty. It is about assertiveness, how you can spot manipulation, how you can reject manipulation, and how you can let others know about the things you want and need without manipulating them. This may or may not earn you the honorable title of alpha male, but what it definitely does is help you be a better communicator. Story 10. I can see you're getting the generic advice that you don't need to be masculine from your average Reddit user. So I'll give you some real advice you're looking for. Hit the gym. I was a skinny young man when I was your age and had very low confidence. Once I reached around 18 and had built a very good physique after training for a couple of years, the guys who tried to make fun of me before respected me greatly. The girls I was invisible to before now wanted to get to know me. Having a good body and not looking like a pushover definitely helped. but the confidence boost I got from it all was what improved my life the most. If I were you, I would also pick up a combat sport. Knowing you are able to handle yourself is a massive confidence booster as well. Pair that with having a good physique, and you will never feel insecure again about your masculinity, and nobody will ever question it. Story 11. First, skip the alpha nonsense. Second, engage in some sport or other physical activity that challenges you physically and mentally. Gradually getting stronger will reduce insecurity because progress, regardless of your starting point, is a sign of discipline, direction, and your best effort. Third, find role models who embody positive masculinity and consider how you can emulate them without copying. Story 12. The most confident thing you can do is give up the social hierarchy nonsense. Just be yourself, take a lead from your stepfather, and remember he is choosing to be there for you. Story 13. You are 15. There is no such thing as an alpha male. That's a tired trope based on poor research about wolves and should not be used as an ideal. What you want to aim for is masculine integrity, something like this quote from the movie The Shouldest. I won't be wronged. I won't be insulted. I won't be laid a hand on. I don't do these things to other people, and I require the same from them. Or perhaps you lean more toward the hero version of masculinity. Consider Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman, a retired United States Army officer who wrote on sheep, wolves, and sheepdogs. He divided people into three categories. Sheep, the majority of society, described as peaceful, productive, and generally nonviolent individuals who avoid conflict. Wolves, predators who exploit and harm others, representing criminals or those with malicious intent. Sheepdogs, protectors who have the capacity for violence but use it to safeguard the sheep from wolves. This group includes soldiers, police officers, and others who take on a protector role, driven by duty and moral responsibility. The main point of both is taking action when action is necessary. Story 14. Nobody cares about masculinity except tricksters and the people who believe what those tricksters sell. Always keep that in mind. Story 15. To learn to carry yourself, get into fighting sports or dancing. If you want to look more masculine, work out with a supplementary diet and build some muscle. You might even consider changing your style and clothes. At the core, you need to feel comfortable in your skin, whatever that looks like. Do not confuse being used to something with actually feeling good about it. Take care. Cheers. Story 16. Look, you are basically a kid. No one expects you to be anything else. Kids around can be cruel and unkind. I remember my school. All those alphas, basically bullies, became nobody after we finished school. It is easy to be a strong boy, grow muscles, and bully others. It is harder to be smart, find a good job, and arrange your life. It is okay for you to skip school if it is bad. It is not the only life you will have. Life itself is very different from this school circus. Kids don't earn money, do nothing, and show off in front of each other. What for? They behave like monkeys, gather in groups, and bully those who are different. It does not matter what kind of difference you have, the color of your shoes, your hair, or different behavior. This is just a foolish show. Don't concentrate too much on it. If you want some certainty, maybe team sports would help. I played some football, not very well, and it was a place to fight and grow into a man where you can beat someone and be beaten, but everybody is okay with it and you understand. It is not so scary. So you become braver. I also joined a boxing class for several months with the same idea. When a big guy hits you in the face, you understand that you can bear it. It is okay and not so frightening. More importantly, you can punch him too. You are not going to fight at your school, you just need that certain look, you know? Wish you luck, brother. Everything is fine with you. Story 17. Alpha man isn't real, brother. You are 9 out of 10, perfectly fine. You are 15 and haven't even really started. My advice to you is to hit the gym. You will be starting earlier than most people. It will help with your sleep, confidence, and how you view yourself. Stay away from steroids. You will be good, dude. You are fine. Story 18. Ha ha ha. I did not understand the word masculinity at that age. Go and explore your world, boy. Find a game or sport that suits you. Have fun. Socialize in the neighborhood or in game centers. Watch some cool movies. Find things you find interesting in life. Challenge yourself. Create something. Talk to girls, talk to men, talk to women and older people and learn from them. Your confidence will do the rest for you. Story 19. It's a hot take, but I'm going to say it. It's okay to be a little insecure sometimes around your age. All men go through that stage being a teenager. Sooner or later, I hope sooner, you'll realize only betas care about being an alpha. Only two things you really need to care about in masculinity are 1, the right amount of strength to shake hands, and 2, being yourself but not being rude without caring about what anyone thinks. Emphasis on not being rude because the standard alpha male type usually is rude. Story 20. Alpha means performative. It is a label to self-identify as big and strong and oh so masculine, or it is a video game that is barely functional masquerading as something more. You are young. Teenage years are difficult. Now is the time to think about what you want to do with your life. What excites you? What makes you feel empowered and motivated? Taking up sports and hobbies might help, but it should be something specific to what you want to do. Try new things too. The cliched version of manhood is big muscles, women, and money. It is a very narrow, toxic version of it. A good man has boundaries. He supports his friends. He helps others. He finds his passions and is not afraid to enjoy them. Do not let others tear you down. Remember, opinions versus facts. If nothing they have said is true, it is not true. Story 21. I fear that much of your generation has been bombarded with gendered content to the extent that it has changed your perception of self-identity so you can fit into a certain narrative. In my opinion, the only thing that decides if you are masculine is that it feels natural and intuitive to you. I have never not felt like I am a man, but being a man has never limited my view of myself or how I act. It may have caused others to treat me a certain way, but that is not on me to provide validation for. I like being a man. I take great pride in my masculinity, and I love the great relationships I have with other men because of it. The greatest thing masculinity offers is fraternity. I think a lot of insecurity comes from thinking more about what others think of you, as opposed to what you think about yourself. If you can view yourself in a way that you like who you are, you will be secure in your masculinity. Pursue that, and please abandon the alpha stuff. Its only job is to limit who you are and seclude you from developing great relationships with wonderful people. Best of luck. Story 22. At the top of the pyramid of humanity, encompassing masculinity and femininity, lies confidence. Everything else is just an intermediate step supporting that. Some men derive confidence from physical prowess. These are often referred to as alpha males. Some from arrogance, some from intellectualism, some from skill, and most from a unique combination of all of these. Do not try to be something you are not. Understand who you are. That is the hardest part, and then consider how to branch out from that. Story 23. Just be yourself. Stand by your own choices. Accept and love yourself. The most attractive trait to other people is confidence. Do what you excel in. Be the best you can and who you want to be. In a small environment like school, this might seem hard. But even at university and beyond, this will bring you the best and the most. That is true masculinity. Story 24. If a man has to say he is an alpha male, he is not. Real men do not have to tell people they are the leader of the pack. They just are. Secondly, there is no such thing as toxic masculinity. It is called being a poor person and has nothing to do with being masculine. People cannot seem to separate the two. You are young, and as you grow up, you will change. Half the guys, if not more, that you are in school with who think of themselves as alphas are just unpleasant people. They are going to end up being bald, overweight, on their third marriage with 4 children they never see. When I was your age, I was 6 feet tall and really lean. I played a lot of sports but got made fun of for being skinny. My freshman year of high school, I made the varsity football team. 3 days into the school year, some kid tried to pick on me and put his hands on me. I beat him badly. Never again did anyone start trouble with me. I went to college for a bit, then joined the military for 10 years. Now I am considered upper middle class and have a family. Every so often I see a former classmate pop up on Facebook. And it makes me laugh how they were unpleasant in high school and now they are 40, single, working as a cashier at Walmart, looking disheveled. Story 25. True masculinity is not about outward things such as a muscular physique or fancy cars, but rather your inner qualities. A man is true to his word. He does what he promises and what he swears to do. A man is someone who is willing to act for his loved ones, for their benefit, and in their defense. A man has integrity. He is someone with a strong moral core who will not let it be compromised by outside forces. A man will always strive to do the right thing. A man will not tolerate offense towards himself. This does not mean that he will strike against someone who slighted him, but it does mean that if someone is being disrespectful towards him or his loved ones, he will make it known. Obviously, it is not always applicable, but it is something that should be taken into account. Basically, be polite, be honest as much as you can, be true to your word and vow, and do not tolerate nonsense. Story 26. Honestly, being confident is all about having confidence in who you are and owning it. The fact that you care about yourself in relation to others is going to hold you back. Story 27. I know that when you are in school, it feels like your whole world. But when you look back after you leave, you will find those were the least consequential people in your life. Just do your thing and ignore the rumors. Be yourself and hold on to people who like you for who you are, not for some macho posturing. Story 28. Just find activities to do, such as a sport or hobby that is goal-oriented, so you can keep your mind focused on achieving those goals rather than letting it wander into your insecurities. Additionally, if you reach those goals, it may help you feel accomplished and, in turn, give you some of the self-confidence you need. Story 29. Fun fact: the alpha wolf concept from years ago is inaccurate, and even the person who developed the theory now opposes it. Story 30. Being insecure is, tragically, a part of being in school. As such, in the manner that you can try not to worry about it too much. Every child in your school likely has this same worry. It is just very difficult to perceive when you are caught up in your own mind. This is not to say you should disregard the troubles you are thinking of. It is, in fact, very important to continue reflecting on them, because in adulthood you will have these same worries, but your time in school will have helped you prepare for handling them. You are who you are, and there is no getting around that. You are allowed to be who you are without any need for an apology. Sometimes that can be painful and rough, but you will always be yourself. It is likely best to just accept yourself and live that way, even if it means pain sometimes. If there are things about yourself you would like to change, then work on that. If you are okay with yourself, then stand strong. Human lives are very adaptable. That is what we are good at after all. Story 31. I was pretty passive at 15, and girls did not like me. A year later, I was far more assertive, had a large group of friends, and never lacked a girlfriend. You are 15. You are still a kid with a lot of growing up to do. If you want to be more assertive, make a decision to be. Get out of your comfort zone and be who you want to be. On the other hand, if you are happy with who you are, then ignore what everyone else says. Be yourself. The most important thing to understand is, despite how difficult it is to believe right now, 10 years from now you will not care what kids in high school thought of you. Many of the alpha kids will turn out to be losers as adults, and you will find it funny that you ever cared what they thought. Story 32. Forget them. I grew up skinny, smart but lazy, not athletic at all. Definitely not your definition of masculine. I did not care. Ironically, my lack of concern won me more friends and relationships than being masculine ever would have. Plus, I personally do not want to be friends with someone who sees masculinity as a huge thing to have. I would also not date someone looking for that, as we have very different perspectives. Story 33. You are a boy. The alpha concept is not true. Do not listen to it. Your masculinity will naturally develop as you grow into a man and understand your values. This growth will come with time. Story 34. I think the best advice I can give is to not let your masculinity be defined by other people. You are still learning who you are. Do not let yourself be pressured into mimicking any preconceived notion of manliness or masculinity. Be kind, be honest, and work for what you want. Story 35. Dude, you are only 15. You still have a lot of time. The best advice to be more confident I can give you is to be competent in as many things as you can. I rather like this quote. Specialization is for insects. Have your stepdad show you what he does at work. Do the same with other relatives. Look up one of the many YouTube cooking channels and cook a meal for your family. Find something in the house to repair. Read something that piques your interest. Try your hand at learning a language. Do a day hike. Be willing to help people with whatever they need. Even if you find you don't like something, congratulations, that is now something you know. I once did a one-day event only to find out I would hate being an architect. You can definitely fake it till you make it. I gave a talk in front of more than 600 people in my 20s. Did I get compliments from my colleagues on how I handled it? Yes. Did I sweat through the back of my shirt while doing it? Also yes. Story 36. Living one's life according to another's expectations is a recipe for self-inflicted misery. The concepts of manhood and masculinity are nebulous at best, shifting and changing between time periods, societies, and cultures. Ask people to define them and they will list 100 different things. Most of the time, they just provide a list of positive qualities or virtues that are vague and not exclusive to being a man. My advice to you is to live your life, be true to yourself, and care less about the opinions of the people around you. It is easier said than done and sounds cliché, but it is true. Remember that high school is a small puddle. A year after it, none of it will matter. What is important is that you can look at yourself in the proverbial mirror and be at peace with what you see. Another thing, growing up without a father does not make you less of anything. Whoever put that worm in your head is wrong. Fathers come in as many shapes as people do. Some are great, while others are abusive and neglectful. Be the man you want to be. Life is long, and at its end, the only opinion that will matter is your own. Story 37. There is no such thing as alphas. Most people claiming to be are losers. Masculinity is not a real thing. There is no correct way for you to act or feel. You are yourself and that is all that matters. There is nothing to be embarrassed about. If any masculine guys try to put you down, know it is rooted in their own insecurities. Not taking part in the masculinity competition makes them feel uncomfortable. Story 38. I was in a similar position at one point. In terms of age, rumors, and not having done much sport, maybe it sounds cliché, but I found physical improvement to help out quite a lot. Masculinity is sometimes exclusively associated with physical activity. While I do think this is somewhat superficial and closed-minded, if you want to feel like a man in the eyes of the world, then there is not much else I could recommend more. As I got more fit, my confidence grew, and I became more affirmed in my masculinity by my peers. Also, I received a lot of wisdom and support from the Bible and Christian teachings, helpful programs and ideas set in place by my school, Philadelphia Christian School, and other helpful information from various sources. Story 39. Alphas are just insecure men who portray it in a different way. Masculinity is about understanding your emotions and feelings. It is about getting angry but staying calm, not wanting to do something but doing it because it aligns with your values. Story 40. Try to list traits that are masculine and erase any that could apply to someone who is not a man. Do the same with feminine traits and erase those that could apply to a man. It's likely you will have nothing left. Masculinity and femininity are entirely social constructs, which is positive because it means you can be whoever you want to be and still be masculine. It all comes down to your own confidence, which is not easy to develop at your age. It is not much easier 30 years later either, but people expect less performative behavior than they did in high school. Story 41. Stop measuring yourself against what other people think. Manhood, in part, consists of growing and learning along the way. Questioning your masculinity is normal, but do not worry about it too much. You are on your way to becoming a great man. Story 42. Ignore these comments. A 15-year-old wants to feel manly, and you're telling him to stop feeling that way. Did you all forget what it was like when you turned 21? Telling a teenager that his problems are insignificant will not make them go away. Anyway, original poster, lift weights and If possible, learn a martial art. A real one like judo or boxing. Strength is not the only aspect of masculinity, but it is definitely part of it. And the more complicated aspects of being a man are not easy to sum up in a comment. Story 43. The cure is stand-up comedy. First, watch comedians, then take classes, and finally perform out there. You will have the biggest, bravest balls in town. Women will want you, and men will want to be you. The gym will only make you fit for manual labor. The stand-up club and writing your set will teach you critical thinking and public speaking, the two defining skills of life. Good luck. Source. I am 40 years older than you, and it all seems so obvious in retrospect. Story 44. Masculinity is not real. It is a social construct. Just live the life you want. You are setting yourself up against a false picture that is not even real. Get away from that toxic alpha male idea. I am glad that was not around when I was in high school. Story 45. Alpha male is just another term for an unpleasant person. Do not emulate people like that. If you want to be masculine, then be yourself and be confident in that. Trust me, that is all it takes. Signed, father of 2 teenage boys. Story 46. Girls do not want an alpha. They want someone who makes them feel safe. It is not the same thing. Feeling safe could simply mean being very gentle. Story 47. I'm going to be honest with you rather than offer meaningless platitudes like others do, such as, be yourself. You have heard that enough, and if it worked, you wouldn't be asking. Kid, you are 15 and didn't grow up with a father. Of course, you are insecure about your masculinity. It's common among many guys your age. Don't worry too much about it if possible. Find something manly you like. Live it, love it, own it. I can't tell you what to pick, but hopefully you can find something manly or masculine that you enjoy. Do that. Make it a big part of you. Slowly but surely you will be associated with it. You will be the guy who likes carpentry, working on engines, lifting weights, target shooting, hunting, fishing, camping, hiking, boxing, wrestling, football, baseball, hockey, or similar activities. Find what makes you happy. Find what scratches that masculine itch. Story 48. My man, you have so far to grow. You will get there at just the right time for you. It sounds like you need confidence more than anything. Find something you are good at and excel. Masculinity is everywhere, but the most embodied version of it is living for yourself. Do what you want, do it with passion, do it with heart. If you want an easier answer, start using and building your body. Weights, fitness, or maybe pick up a martial art. Story 49. Masculinity is something you build with discipline and empathy. Just like many have said, you won't develop it at 15. Most of the guys you think are alpha right now are just faking it and will crumble in their 20s. The best thing you can do for yourself right now is to focus on the bigger picture. 1. How do you become a good person? How do you learn to love others? How do you learn to protect the things you love? With that, you should learn to focus and communicate well. Be disciplined, but also learn to enjoy others, especially a woman's presence, without just thinking about sex. I promise you that's it. To do this, you will have to get out of your comfort zone. Take martial arts classes, dance classes, improv classes, try approaching girls or random strangers. You will see you are at the bottom of the food chain when you begin doing these things, and you will have to push through that and improve these skills. That process is what builds a man over time. It is tough, boring, and long sometimes, but it is worth it. Story 50. You are a child. Grow up and stop with this false information that you are fed by people on the internet trying to sell you their course for $50 a month. Story 51. Build your body in the gym, do martial arts. Real martial arts, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, boxing, wrestling. Focus only on getting good at these disciplines. When you're struggling, exhausting your body will alleviate anxiety and depression. Remember that you are in a stage that is difficult for most. Even those who seem to have it all together have their own struggles. When you graduate, your world will open up, and you can be whoever or whatever you want. That base of fitness and ability will bring you confidence. Nothing is harder than getting your ass kicked every day and getting up to do it again. 5 years post-graduation, you will be a completely new person if you put your mind to it. Naysayers bring others down to their level. Ignore what they say. They are not operating your body, you are. Story 52. Be yourself and make it clear that you do not care what anyone else thinks, and do so explicitly. When I was a boy, I was picked on and bullied a lot, but as soon as I made it perfectly clear that unless you were one of my friends, I absolutely did not care what anyone thought of me, the bullying stopped. Moreover, dominant males do not exist in the way you think they do. The men who posture around trying to present themselves as dominant are trying to hide massive insecurities of their own. Story 53. It's fine if you have never been a dominant male. Ironically, anyone who is obsessed with being dominant is at best submissive or at worst an emotionally immature man-child. You should work out because people are usually happier if their body looks good. However, follow your own path and be the type of person others only talk about behind your back. Story 54. 15? So a kid, lots can happen before you are a man. Talking about rumors without specifying them is pointless. Someone suggested you are gay or something else. I was not interested in sports either. Maybe join a club that interests you. Story 55. My general advice is to not worry about the alpha males and role models and all of that. You are only 15 and have so much time to discover who you are and who you want to be in the world. It is perfectly okay to feel insecure and to take your time to figure life out. Personally, I encourage you to think more about becoming confident in yourself rather than more masculine. Find things that you enjoy doing and that you are good at. They do not need to be sports or typical male activities. Take your time. Do not rush. Be kind to yourself. Story 56. You have to remember that you are practically a child, and masculinity is not a measurable metric on any scale that we possess on this earth. Story 57. You are born as whoever you are with whatever traits you have. You were hopefully raised to have morals, values, and integrity. The people who raised you have hopefully given you good examples of how to deal with life's difficult situations. If you are unfortunate and were not raised like that, it is time for you to work on that deficit on your own. You can derive your sense of self-worth and confidence from knowing that you are a good person to the people around you, especially those you care about, and from developing whatever skills you have and applying them to make a difference. That is the same regardless of gender. We all need to work with whatever we are. Labels like masculinity exist to categorize people and hold them to imaginary standards so they can be disrespected and dismissed. Even if you fulfill the imaginary requirements for masculinity, others may come up with another label that does not fit you just to disrespect and dismiss you. Any label can be reversed by adding a word, like toxic masculinity. Trying to fulfill the requirements for these labels is a loser's game. You can never win. Here is my personal solution. I am a man because I was born that way, just like an elephant is an elephant because it is an elephant. Being a man is not an achievement and not something I am either proud or ashamed of. Everyone who does not disrespect me, who does not harm me, who accepts me as I am, and who sees and values me for what I am good at is welcome in my life. All other people are irrelevant to me, and I do my best to keep them out of my life as much as possible. If there is any judging to be done of my behavior and actions, it is done by myself. I base my self-judgment on my morals, values, and the standards I choose to hold myself to. I take into consideration the opinions and advice of a select few people whom I trust and who know me well. All others have the right to their opinions, but those are basically environmental noise to me. Story 58. Bro, you are 15, still a child with a lot of growing up to do. You might think you can self-actualize right now, but this will probably take over a decade. Be patient. Gain some experience and stop focusing on masculinity. Every great man you encounter in life does not think about things like this. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.